Watson, Griffin, Wilson, and Smith. Sound like a law firm. Yeah. Ridiculous.
So we've got 1 pulled hamstring, 4 donut burgers. Now it's time for some fights.
Posed by Dane Jacobson, and he believes his fighting style will get decisive.
The vacant Cage Warriors lightweight title.
So amazing nights in Liverpool, great fights, all those boys, huge amount of heart, not a single bad fight on the card, not a single person gave up in any of those fights, and some of them were rough. Gave me goosebumps at moments when some of those boys came out. It's a bit sad to not see Paddy come through at the end, but dude, that kid has no quit in him, and all fair play to back the guy he was fighting against. I'm sure they'll both be back, and hopefully we'll be back ringside to watch it. But it's a new day, and there's new shit going on, and now we're about to head to my normal gym to see a not so normal person. So in the gym, and in the next 15 minutes, the man we are supposed to be meeting will be appearing. The man I'm talking about is none other than Olympian champion Jay Cutler. But very motivational guy, very successful man, one of the first bodybuilders to really build a fitness empire around himself and become a self-made millionaire. And I think there's a lot of wisdom that this guy can pass on to you guys, because he's not only a great bodybuilder and good businessman, he's an intelligent man. He's articulate, so fingers crossed, we'll get straight with him. But more importantly, I want to get some words of wisdom. So sometimes my job just gets a little bit too good, and he has to stand next to absolute legends. So if you don't know, it's Jay Cutler. I'm going to say, if you don't know, get off the channel, stop watching now and leave. Welcome to England.
Always good to be here. I brought the Vegas weather this time, so it's good.
So Jay's out doing seminars, so if you're unaware that he does these, you do speeches and talks.
I talk and try to do a little more face-to-face with people. I've been at expos for a long time. I actually was one of the first ones at Body Power years ago. And this tour has given me opportunity to stand face-to-face, communicate with people, spend, like I said, a little more time. We talked about that. And really kind of tell my story about how I got started and why I did it and what I do now. So it's just more insight on my life, pretty much. And we've traveled all around. We got 9 stops total, and 2 have been knocked out already. So
I mean, this is what we were talking about, Jay, before the camera came on, about that, how you can get more interactive, learn more about somebody when you sit and let them talk about what they've done and ask questions. I'm going to do a little bit of that at the end of this, and at the end we'll answer 3 big questions that I think will help you guys out from insight from a professional guy who's been one of the most successful bodybuilders ever.
In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a pro. Let's go, let's go.
She just threw up my teeth.
What happened?
So normally when I train, I take 2 grams of Himalayan salt before I come training. And I should have done it before. I did it whilst I was in here. And I think I put 3 in the bag instead of 2, because Jay's here. So I thought I'd be a big boy and try and take 3 grams.
I think you just tried too hard on those.
I just tried too hard to impress you, that was the thing. And so what I did instead was, I did a quick walk to the toilet, threw up my chicken and sweet potatoes that I had before we came here. Now I'm going to look even flatter than I would have done if I hadn't done it at all. when you're doing these on the rear delts, what Chris was saying was, a lot of us tend to overextend, we try and drive back further. By bending the arm and shortening the range in which we can move, we maintain load on that rear delt, whereas when we extend the arm up and out, we start recruiting traps, other parts of the shoulder, you start hunching up. So if you can keep a tighter bend on the arm, restricts that range of movement to a natural endpoint, which is here.
Well, if you just turn around, you can see it straight away. Just move your arm back. There. Yeah, that's your contraction.
As soon as I extend my arm, I can move it way further back, keeping them bent and find that natural point of contraction. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Like a bird. Come on. Don't let it go. There we go. Cool. That's it. Keep going. Keep pumping them out. Now, because they pump, even on 1/3 movement, we'll activate the rear delt. Love it. Keep going. You can move it 2 inches now. See? Once the rear delt has been engaged properly and it starts to fail, then the burn sets in. You can go to complete and utter failure where you engage in partial reps and the muscle is still under load even if you're moving at 2 inches as opposed to the whole range.
If you're new to that, start doing them on your final set and you'll feel it straight away. And as you can progress safely, you can start adding them into more steps. So it's like a variation of a straight bar front lift.
Front bell raise without bringing the legs. So you want to try to do it.
Okay. So it takes out the legs, takes out that body swing, really isolates just the shoulders.
Shoulder width on the bar. Okay.
So quick addition here, whilst we were doing this, I was getting a little bit of lower back pain doing this exercise, and it turned out that I wasn't planting my feet properly. So here you can see I've brought my feet up the bench a little bit, chest a little bit higher, and that helps flatten off and neutralize that spine. Don't try and lift too high on this, that's also going to help, because if you try and lift too high, what you're going to do is arch that lower back, and that's then going to intrude on the workout. So if you do get a bit of lower back pain, keep your butt high, plant your feet a little higher up the bench, and make sure that you're not lifting too high. Focus completely on isolating those front delts. I haven't used this exercise at all really ever, and it was one of my favorites from the day, so give it a go.
Just got Mr. Olympia putting my weights away for me. You know what I mean?
You know what's really crazy? So the first body powers and things when we did them, I thought people like Jay was still competing at the time. I didn't, like, I schoolgirled it in front of him, I didn't dare talk to him. I just went like that. Now I get to train with the guy. It's so fucking cool. So anyway, I've got to go because, you know, Jay's messing this up. I gotta go show him some shit.
If something hurts, don't do it. Yeah, that's right. Like, everyone asks that comment, like, you know, what should I do if it hurts? Don't do it.
Yeah. Let's go.
Alright, yeah, it's a fucking problem now. Hey, look. I can do some fucking abs. Someone come and push me down. I ain't kidding. Someone come and push me down.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go!
So we did, I think the first thing you missed I got other people was a shoulder press, into lateral raises, into a rear delt, into then a front raise. So a shoulder dominant day, followed up with some triceps on the end there. And tales of how, giving them Insta stories. Rocks the other day came in covered in fuck shit, cleaning the fuck shit off her. Somewhere the shit got in my body. And I shit 5 pounds off in 2 days, so if you want to get shredded, eat some fox poo. Just about get you on a camera. That's the only time I'll ever look bigger than Jay.
Right, just sit closer to it.
Okay, so as promised, Jay's kindly, even in his tight state, going to answer a couple of questions, but first of all, I'm just going to let him reintroduce himself to you guys. If you a quick lowdown on how you got going and cool.
Yeah, my name is Jay Cutler. I'm a former Olympia champion, former Arnold Classic champ. I've done a lot of great things in the world of bodybuilding, but more importantly, I had a dream and a vision. I started training at the age of 18. And I started training to build a better body. I was going to school for criminal justice, to be a police officer, chasing my degree in that. I actually got involved in weights, used it as a stress reliever, got convinced to get on a bodybuilding stage. At the time, there was only men's and women bodybuilding and no other divisions. And we didn't have social media or anything on those channels, no YouTube, any kind of real outlet where we could actually watch and learn. Yeah, I mean, it was AOL. And then, I mean, that was prior to even all the internet. So I was a magazine person, so I would pick up scrap magazines at the gym. So I learned how to train at the age of 18 by watching people train and getting guided by local people back in Massachusetts, and became a teenage national champion at 19.
Did you have a mentor, or was this just on your own? Just
you know what? I didn't have a mentor. I actually picked up a bodybuilding book. I bought it at a local GNC. It was called Beyond Built. It was by Bob Paris, who was an old classic bodybuilder. If you look Bob Paris up, great physique, good-looking guy. He wrote a book, and it was an instructional book. So I learned how to learn. I learned all the exercises from that book. Yeah. At 16, I read that, and then I didn't join the gym until I was 18. So I kind of had a vision and a knowledge of kind of weights. But so when I did join the gym, I knew kind of what to do, but I still followed the lead of all the local people and what the magazines kind of displayed to me. And I advanced rather quickly. I had great success. Everyone always asked me what was my motivation in the beginning. It was because
that was going to be one of the questions.
It was because I saw progress. And I think every day we go in the gym and you can watch yourself change in front of the mirrors, and I think progression is the most motivating thing to people. Like seeing my arms get bigger, or my chest get bigger, or my legs, especially the body parts that weren't really outstanding body parts. I already had like stocky legs and everything growing up as a football player. But I watched my arms get bigger, and of course my chest, and then my back started getting wider from doing all the pull-ups, which I still think is the best exercise. Tips to everyone out there watching. Body weight pull-ups. Wide
tough
grip.
one. You get guys that can do heavy weights and can't do the pull-ups.
But 3 times a week, I would always suggest doing the wide grip pose if you want that great V taper. So, I just advanced and started competing, had great success, teenage national champion, pro at 23, and worked my way up to the top, eventually winning Olympia titles, and now being someone of like that kind of iconic.
Yeah. Feel weird to think of yourself like that.
Yeah.
Feel weird, or is it kind of sunk in now at this point? You kind of.
I kind of realize now because people look to me for motivation, and
like we showed you before.
Yeah.
It's right there.
One of my best showings, 2009.
That was.
So people look to me for motivation based on what they saw in my life, and that is kind of awkward to me because I was just selfish trying to be the best bodybuilder in the world. Little did I know I would build a huge fan base that followed me along from all over the world. So here I'm in the UK, collaborating with people like you, who aren't necessarily competing on a bodybuilding stage, but on a different platform, which is, the social media, YouTube.
I think that is the beauty of the bodybuilding, is that you don't have to be competitive to want to be competitive in it, but not necessarily to get on the stage, but within yourself, with that motivation in the mirror, like you're saying. It's a great way in for anyone to come and train, because you don't have to be good at the start. Like if you want to, like you said, you were playing football, you got it or you're cut. In the gym environment, there's always someone there to help you. There's always something you can progress in, and as long as you're progressing, like you said, that is enough motivation to keep going.
I mean, listen, man, you don't have to be a big star. You started somewhere. I started on the smallest stages, like at a local show at a local church back in Worcester, Massachusetts, with like 25 people in a show.
Yeah. But you fucking did it.
And I went to the biggest platform, so it just goes to show we all start off at the same place. So people watching that think, oh, I'm in a small town and no one ever knows me. Like, man, you gotta get out there and chase it, and listen, tell your story and be yourself. Act yourself on camera. Your videos or what you do will get traction eventually.
And being you in that video.
Yes.
This is the big thing. Just because this is in front of you, don't change who you are to be in front of a lens because you've watched somebody else and you're trying to be that person. Because you're always going to be struggling to ever reach your potential when you're trying to be something that you're not. And I think you said when we were talking before training, you were saying, how I'm asking Jay, I'm saying, like, do you find you do this on this movement, that? He's going, feel it.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Does that feel the way to you? Because not everyone's the same. So you can take advice from Jay, but you have to adapt it to yourself in whatever you do. So in terms of that way of thinking, I grew up watching you. like through all those Olympias, watching, like we were talking about the Swollen Monkey, all those productions, which was YouTube explosion. You hunt those. I think you've reloaded a lot of those.
No,
on your
but
channel,
they're still on the
school.
channel, my J Cutler TV channel.
Yeah.
You search deep into the videos,
get
and you'll
deep
see some
stalking.
really shitty quality videos.
Yeah.
And those are my Swole Monkey that we filmed on like the handheld that you did like the old videos with the family back in like 1980s. That shit was filmed on.
But they're real. They're so fucking real, and that's what we grew up watching. It's like, so Jay learned from magazines. I learned from magazines. Then I was in that crossover era of the internet era, coming in watching the J Cutler TV with Swollen Monkey Productions, and. So we've come so far, but now bodybuilding is obviously transgressed. Everything started getting big. I think when you were on there, was we had the size and the balance. And I think it crossed a little too far, in my opinion. Everyone started kind of trying to hold too much mass on the frames.
Yeah, and even I did. I was a victim of that too. Also,
when you came in on that smaller, that 255, you were saying was that the ultimate, that iconic picture of Jay hitting that leg pose.
Stomp,
Everybody knows it. It'll come up on the screen now. That. I wanted to ask on that was that whole era, and this is a big thing that people talk about the way is waistlines. How did you come in from having that bigger, thicker frame set to literally creating that smaller waistline and coming in? Because you yourself over there said that was one of your, this is the way I'm built. I have the wider waist, but you still managed, even so, to bring that.
I mentioned to you I competed. I won my first Olympia at 273. So I came down in body weight. The training, the eating became a little less.
Yeah.
My focus wasn't to be as big. Remember, when I won the Olympia in 2006, I was battling the biggest bodybuilder ever, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
He stepped away, and when I was able to compete in 2009 and come back to beat Dexter Jackson, he was a smaller bodybuilder. So I was able to come in a lot tighter and smaller, and I think that was a better. I always said my best was at 255, even though I won all the way up to 273 or whatever. I have a big swing of how I looked my best, and people have different opinions, right? But I think more importantly, the ideal physique for me was in the 50s. I'm 5'9", and it just goes to show, guys are just competing too heavy still nowadays. You'll look at the Olympia lineup this year that's coming up in a couple weeks, and you'll see a lot of guys that are just too damn heavy.
Yeah, and I did ask online whilst I was training on the Insta stories. I put on there questions you wanted to ask, and this crosses over. One of the guys asked, do you think there's now like a dysmorphia in bodybuilding of what the guys are seeing themselves when they look in the mirror? So they're kind of missing this distension of the midsection for looking, because they're only looking at the overall size? Or do you think it needs somebody to step in there? And
well,
really
I think what happens is these guys say, well, I'm going to lose the belly like the last week, because they say, well, my stomach's bloated, but once I lose that water and stuff, the stomach's going to come out. Come on, man. You shouldn't be that bloated. I mean, I was a 300-pound bodybuilder in the off-season, and that was too big. I was chasing Ronnie, but it wasn't necessary. 280 was a good off-season weight. I dropped 30 pounds, 25 pounds, get ready for the show. Remember, 15 pounds was water anyway, but 10 pounds of fat. So off-season, pre-contest, I still kind of ate the same things, but I just think that the physiques have gone a little far, and that's why, I do favor the new divisions. We talked about that. I think that was one of the questions.
One of the questions was the future of bodybuilding and what you think of like the new physique divisions that's really taking hold.
I think
now.
it's awesome. I promote shows, and I think, I'm a fan of like the Jeremy Buendias, and obviously, Danny Hester, we go way back. He won the classic Mr. Olympia the first year, and then Breon won last year, and then you got Chris Bumstead, who's a fucking amazing. Reagan Grimes, who I think is like kind of like on the. I think he's on the crossover between men's physique.
What do you think of the classic? Do you think is it going to be a future?
I think it's going to be a huge future. I still never think it's going to overtake the big bodybuilding size. You're still going to have the Mr. Olympia as the big prize, but I do think the classic guys are going to get more reputable and more, because listen, we all train the same. Jeremy Buendia is fucking killing it right now. With all his social media, you'll see what he does. Dude, he's training legs. He's squatting 4 plates. I mean, he's doing the weights that these top pros are using, getting ready for the Mr. Olympia. So you can't take anything away from those guys. They're still peeled downstairs. Just because they're wearing board shorts doesn't mean anything. But the classic guys, it's just a little more streamlined. It's kind of to bring the whole bodybuilding side back too. You're going to see bodybuilding is going to shift, and you're going to have guys that are going to be a little more aesthetic, even the open class. I think it's going to help our whole business.
I think we saw that with Rowley in the last show he won. His midsection's tight now coming in. So you've pulled away now from the bodybuilding, stepped off the stage. In terms of like being your own motivation for business and still training and staying in shape, once you've not got that, because it was an extreme goal, wasn't it? I mean, it was the hardest thing to do in the world in this sport. So now you stepped away, but you're still in amazing shape, and have been, because I remember when you stepped away and you've stayed in this condition even afterwards, going on. So what kind of keeps that fire going? So for people at home who aren't looking for stage, but and lose and drop off to wagon all the time. It happens. It's a question
Yeah,
again.
like I just love to fucking train, man.
It's just in you.
I love to train. The best part of my day is still going to the gym, and all the great things I do, and like, you know, I have great business, and like I'm doing this huge tour right now through the UK, which I'm so excited about, to go out and see everyone and be face to face with everyone. And like, I just love fucking training, man.
Yeah.
Like, that was my passion. Like when I joined the gym at 18, like I just, that's all I wanted to do was train. I used to train 3 hours a day. I've cut back now to like 30, 40 minutes an hour max. I still do my cardio every morning. So I'm in the gym still like twice a day, even without being competitive.
So cardio session,
yeah, I do
and
cardio
weight
session and the weight session just because I like it. It's for my mind. But it makes it really easy because, number one, I still want to have a athletic build, but also I still want to motivate people and show people, like, even after retirement, like, this is why I did this. This is why I became a pro bodybuilder. It wasn't to chase only the prizes and win money and do whatever. I really truly love to train, and I fortunately found bodybuilding because someone coaxed me into competing. I probably never would have competed. I was nervous to get on stage. I didn't know what it was about. I never thought I could be that guy, but I learned that side and I became great at it. But now I stepped away and I still do what I love to do, and that's work out. And, I mean, motivate people like yourself. I mean, I'm going all around the world and motivating people. What better payoff? You can give me all the Olympia prizes and everything I ever won. You know, I've won cars and amazing trophies, you know, 4 Sandow trophies, 3 Arnold Classic trophies. And man, like, being an inspiration to people is like, there's no pride, there's no like,
the helping
nothing
somebody
involved
else.
with that. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just awesome, and I'm happy to be able to do it, and I'm just going to keep doing it until I can't actually lift any more weights.
And that's, I think that the moral of the story is, if you love something, you're going to want to do it. So do what you love. If it's not bodybuilding in the gym, but you still like the gym environment, find that version of training that you love. Because the reason Jay still looks where he does, and the way he was so good at what he did, is because he loved it. Had a real passion.
It was passion.
Yeah.
And I always use that. You can't do anything successfully if you're not passionate about it.
You can't fake passion.
Yes.
And that is too true. So a huge thank you for doing this. I know you had a long day. I really appreciate it, man.
I'm very happy and honored. And
is there a link that people can go to find your tour dates, tickets, and things like that?
Yeah, just the Jay Cutler Instagram at Jay Cutler. But you know, my YouTube channel will display a lot of this stuff too. We'll follow up on the videos and hopefully some of this stuff at Jay Cutler TV on YouTube. And
all be linked in the description below, so make sure to check that out, and go dig in those archives, find those videos of Jay from the golden era. It will honestly motivate you more than anything, and it's what we all grew up doing. And like Jay said, it doesn't matter what you do it with passion. Thank you all for joining us. Check those links below, go give Jay some love, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And thank you for the great secret tips. He does have some secret tips, guys. So stay tuned for those more on his channel.
Jay is where he is because of people like me.